Someone who once laughed at your pain is now crying in private. Everything they wished on you is circling back to them. Archangel Michael says, the one who once found joy in your pain is now sitting in silence, wiped by the very storm they wished would consume you. They laughed when you cried. They celebrated when you stumbled. But what they didn't see was the shield around you. You were protected even when you felt alone. Covered even when you were bleeding. And now the energy they used against you has found its way back to them. They are no longer smiling. Their laughter has turned into regret. Their pride has turned into panic. In the dark, they are seeing your face, shining with the peace they tried to steal. And it's eating them alive. Type Amen to get blessing 333. They spoke your name with cruelty when you weren't there. Threw salt on your wounds instead of helping you heal. But what they didn't know was that the same mouth that curses becomes the mouth that cries. Now they wake up with heaviness. Their nights are restless. Their soul is uneasy, and they can't explain why. But you can. You know why. The seeds they planted are growing in their own garden now. Everything they wished on you has a return address, and it's knocking. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. They thought your breaking point was entertainment. They used your downfall as a story for others to laugh at. But now they're the story they never wanted to become. They wear fake smiles, hoping no one sees the truth. But the truth is dripping from their eyes at night when no one's around. And that truth looks a lot like karma. They never expected to lose peace. They never imagined tables could turn. But they have, and now it's their turn to sit with sorrow. Their spirit remembers every moment they mocked your pain. Type Amen to get blessing 7171. They are surrounded by everything they thought would replace you, yet feel emptier than ever. The friendships they chose over you are cold now. The joy they chased is fading. They were loud when you were weak. But you became strongest in your silence. And that silence is now louder than their apologies. You didn't need revenge. You needed distance. And that distance has shown them everything they refused to see before. Now, they're seeing it all too clearly, and too late. Type Amen to get blessing 4545. They can't look you in the eyes anymore. Not because you're bitter, but because you've healed. Your glow is a reminder of their guilt. They never thought you'd rise again. But your rise is their biggest lesson now. You are walking proof that grace always wins. Archangel Michael says, their tears aren't from the world's rejection, they're from realizing they rejected the one who truly loved them. You didn't deserve the pain, but you survived it. And now the weight they placed on you is circling their own chest. Type Amen to get blessing 8888. They kept watching, hoping your life would fall apart. But instead, it's unfolding. And every step you take forward pulls them deeper into their own shadow. You were the light they tried to dim. But light only becomes brighter in the dark. And now they're the ones fumbling in confusion. They speak softly about you now. Not with pride, but with regret. They thought you were weak, but now they're watching your strength rewrite your story. You are not who they left behind. You're beyond them now. Type Amen to get blessing 3636. Their whispers are now prayers. They pray for peace but can't find it. Because peace doesn't live where cruelty was planted. You gave love, they gave laughter. You gave presence, they gave pain. Now, your blessings are growing, and their guilt is blooming. They're learning the hard way that what you give returns. And the return is never delayed, it's divine. They are not just haunted by your memory, they are haunted by their actions. By the look in your eyes they chose to ignore. Type Amen to get blessing 9292. They laughed at your healing journey. They mocked your quiet battles. But now, they're in a war they can't escape. And no one is clapping for their pain. No one is cheering when they fall. Because the energy they fed into the universe has come back to sit beside them. Let them feel it. Let them sit in what they served. You owe them nothing. Your strength is the closure they never wanted you to have. Type Amen to get blessing 6565. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They're trying to act like nothing's wrong. Smiling in daylight, breaking in the dark. But their spirit is collapsing under what they once cheered for. The same way they mocked your brokenness, they are now being broken. Not by revenge, but by reflection. The mirror they avoided has finally found them. You don't have to lift a finger. The truth is already doing the work. And it is working deep. They now understand your silence was never weakness, it was wisdom. And that wisdom has become your armor. Type Amen to get blessing 3131. They judged you in your healing season. But now they're the ones aching without a remedy. Your tears built a foundation they never thought you'd rise from. Now that foundation has become your fortress. And they cannot enter. Not even with apology. You don't hate them. You've just outgrown the space where they tried to keep you small. Their guilt is loud. But it will never be louder than your growth. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. They are learning that pain feels different when it's personal. That betrayal echoes louder in solitude. That laughing at someone's struggle invites storms. They are whispering now, in hopes the universe will forget what they spoke over you. But the universe does not forget energy, it returns it in full. You were never their entertainment. You were the one who would have stood by them when the world left. And now they have no one left. You were divine love wrapped in patience. And they mocked it. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. Now they watch you from a distance. Not with envy, but with shame. Because the one they counted out has become the one they silently admire. You didn't need to become bitter to rise. You became better. And your energy speaks louder than any words ever could. Archangel Michael says, what was spoken in darkness is now being exposed by light. And your name is being vindicated in rooms you'll never enter. You don't need to defend yourself. Their own spirit is doing that for you now. Type Amen to get blessing 4747. They once threw your name into conversations like it meant nothing. But now your name burns their tongue. Not because of guilt, but because of truth. They never expected you to rise without revenge. Never imagined you'd gain without them losing. But now you're gaining peace, and they're losing sleep. The same way they told stories about your suffering, they now suffer in silence, unable to share their own. Because even they know, they sowed this. This pain was not given to them. It was returned to them. Type Amen to get blessing 7272. They want forgiveness, but not because they've changed. It's because they're tired of the wait. Tired of hiding behind fake smiles while their heart breaks at night. You see, there's a type of sorrow that no words can fix. And that's what they carry now. A sorrow they fed with your name. And while they hoped you'd stay broken, the truth is, you bloomed. And that blooming has become their reminder of what they tried to destroy. Every blessing you walk into now reminds them of what they lost. Type Amen to get blessing 1919. They're watching your name being honored now. Watching your peace stretch across every space they said you'd never reach. Watching your joy come back in full. It stings. Because the same person they broke now shines brighter than ever. And the world sees what they were too blind to. Their tears won't stop the return of what they put in motion. And that's the part that hurts most, it's out of their control now. Energy always makes its way back. And it came home with fire. Type Amen to get blessing 8585. Archangel Michael says, your soul has been avenged in silence. No war. No conflict. Just alignment. This is the kind of justice that doesn't need permission. It moves through time. It moves through hearts. It speaks when you don't. They are learning slowly, painfully, and privately. And this time, the lesson is permanent. Type Amen to get blessing 6262. They wanted people to turn against you. But now, those same people are watching your light rise while their own dim in silence. What they built on lies is collapsing, brick by brick. Because you didn't need to expose them, truth always surfaces. You didn't have to get even, your elevation did it for you. And your calmness became the storm they couldn't handle. They missed the version of you that needed them. But that version of you no longer exists. You've grown from pain into power. And now they're praying for peace, while you're walking in it. Type Amen to get blessing 3030. They feel alone in a room full of people. Surrounded, yet unseen. Because no one else reflects what they lost. You were the mirror of unconditional love, and now all they see are reflections of their actions. That's why the tears won't stop. That's why their chest stays heavy. You were not just a person in their story, you were the turning point. And now that the page has flipped, their story has lost its color. They see clearly now. But clarity after damage is not redemption, it's consequence. Type Amen to get blessing 3838. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They whisper about you in regret. Not to gossip, but to grieve. Because losing someone like you doesn't just sting, it changes people. You gave them a chance to grow, and they chose to hurt. Now you've grown without them. And they're stuck replaying every word they laughed at. They thought the pain was yours to carry forever. But they didn't know how the divine works. Now the weight has shifted, and your hands are clean. They don't cry because you're gone. They cry because you'll never return. Type Amen to get blessing 4646. Archangel Michael says, your blessing was always protected, even when your heart wasn't. Your path was covered, even when you couldn't see it. And your name was marked for greater, even when they tried to stain it. Let their tears fall. Let them learn. This is not your burden. You've risen from what was meant to ruin you. And now, they must rise from what they created for themselves. What once tried to break you has bowed before your strength. Type Amen to get blessing 9999. They thought your strength came from pretending. But now they realize it came from surviving. You didn't fake your way through the storm, you walked through it with faith they never understood. And now, they are in a storm of their own. One they can't escape. One they created by tearing down someone who only ever tried to love them right. They are breaking quietly. Not in front of crowds. But when the silence returns, that's when it hits. They never thought they'd miss what they mocked. But the ache won't leave, and neither will the lesson. Type Amen to get blessing 5959. Your elevation was their exposure. The moment you started rising, their shadows started showing. Not because you changed, but because light always reveals what darkness hides. They didn't just laugh at your pain, they tried to make it worse. But what they sent your way has circled back like a storm, and now it sits in their own home. They wanted to see you fail. But all they see now is your glow getting brighter. And their tears don't come from guilt, they come from knowing it's too late. Type Amen to get blessing 1211. You were silent for so long, they assumed you were broken. But that silence became your sacred space. That silence became your armor. Now, they feel that same silence surrounding them, and it doesn't feel peaceful. It feels cold. It feels empty. Because the same silence they gave to your pain has returned to them tenfold. And there's no comfort in it now. You begged for mercy in your lowest moment, and now they beg for it when no one listens. Type Amen to get blessing 3232. They look for comfort, but nothing soothes them. They turn to people, but no one understands them. Because no one else saw the damage they caused like you did. Now they are crying in places where they once laughed at your tears. The reversal is real. And it's not stopping anytime soon. Archangel Michael says, what was released in cruelty has returned in consequence. What was spoken in mockery is being answered in silence. This is not punishment, it's prophecy. And it's being fulfilled through every tear they now shed. Type Amen to get blessing 7474. Now they sit with the memories they once dismissed. Every kind word you spoke plays on repeat. Every time you forgave them now feels like gold slipping through their fingers. They see your strength and call it grace now. But back then, they called it weakness. And now their heart breaks because they realize it was sacred all along. You were their lifeline in a season they took for granted. And now, there's no rope to pull them out. No hand waiting to hold them again. What they laughed at has become their greatest regret. What they ignored is now the only voice echoing in their emptiness. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. They thought your tears were weakness, but they were seeds. And now, everything you cried through is growing blessings around you. And they are surrounded by drought. No one claps for them now. No one checks on them like you did. Because the love you gave wasn't ordinary, it was divine. And divine love doesn't return to the hands that mocked it. It transforms, it rises, it multiplies, without warning. They cry quietly now. Not from loneliness, but from understanding. Type Amen to get blessing 3535. They scroll through your photos and wonder how you're still glowing. How you still have joy after what they said, did, and hoped. But what they don't know is, your glow was born in fire. You were refined by pain they never expected you to survive. And your strength now terrifies them. Because they know they helped create the pain, but they can't touch the strength. Archangel Michael says, this is divine reversal. The first shall be last. And the last shall now be seen. Not to prove a point, but to fulfill a promise. Type Amen to get blessing 6767. They wear a mask every day now. One that hides the storm behind their smile. But you see beyond the mask, because you've worn it before. And that's what makes your peace powerful. You've lived through what they're just now tasting. You've cried the tears they're only beginning to understand. This isn't about revenge. It's about reflection. And what they see in that mirror is the pain they once clapped for. Now they finally get it. But you've already let go. Type Amen to get blessing 9997. They wake up with the weight of it now. Not a physical burden, but a spiritual ache. The kind that doesn't go away with distraction or noise. They look around and realize the people they laughed with are no longer present. Those who joined in the mockery have faded. Because shared cruelty always collapses in time. But your name still stands. Your spirit still rises. And your presence remains untouchable. They laughed, yes, but now they cry where no one can see. Type Amen to get blessing 5858. They replay it all now, the looks, the words, the moments they thought would never return to them. But life has a way of mirroring energy. And what they gave to you has returned to them in silence. You gave light, they gave shade. You gave depth, they gave distance. And now they find themselves in a shallow place, thirsting for the very depth you used to pour out freely. They scroll through what's left of you, memories, messages, and a presence that no longer answers. And that silence hurts more than any scream. What they once thought was weakness has now become their reminder of your divine strength. Type Amen to get blessing 4141. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. You are not bitter, you are blessed. You are not angry, you are aligned. And what was meant to break you has lifted you. They never expected your tears to become your fuel. But they did. And now you burn brighter than ever. Archangel Michael says, what was stolen from you has been restored in ways they can't comprehend. What was laughed at has been elevated in ways they never saw coming. And now, while you live in light, they are trying to outrun shadows. Type Amen to get blessing 7474. They are learning the cost of cruelty. Not through punishment, but through absence. Because your absence carries the weight of everything they mistreated. Let them cry. Let them remember. Let them sit in what they never thought would circle back. Because every time they mocked your pain, they were writing a chapter in their own story. And now they're reading it, with shaking hands and tearful eyes. You have already healed. Now they must face what they once cheered. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. They thought their words would fade in your mind. But instead, those words became bricks. And you built a new life with what they threw at you. Now, they wish they had held their tongue. wished they had chosen kindness. But the moment has passed, and your path no longer leads to them. They lost access, not because you shut the door out of anger, but because your soul refused to be wounded again. What once reached you now bounces off your peace. And that peace speaks louder than anything they have to say. Type Amen to get blessing 3939. They scroll through your success and feel the sting. Not from jealousy, but from awareness. They now understand that what they laughed at was gold. You were their test, and they failed. You were the lesson wrapped in love, and they chose ego. Now they hold on to memories, while you hold on to miracles. They thought you would never be okay. But your joy now breaks the chains they thought would bind you. Their tears are the result of realizing they lost something divine. Type Amen to get blessing 4848. They want to come back, not for healing, but for relief. They want to sit near the light again, because their darkness is too heavy now. But you are no longer offering sanctuary to those who mocked your survival. Your growth is sacred. Your peace is holy. Your boundaries are protection, not punishment. Archangel Michael says, what they see in you now is not for them. It's for the new season. For the divine path ahead. Let them feel what they mocked. Let them miss what they misused. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. They weep quietly now. Afraid to speak your name out loud because it trembles in their mouth. Type Amen to get blessing 9090.